Welcome back. In this particular video, we are again talking about the solution of chapter number 3, that is plotting with PyPlot of IP grade 12. We are actually talking about the type B, that is application based question and answers. And this is part number 2 of this particular chapter solutions video. Namaste student, this is Sanjay and welcome back to my YouTube channel Tech Tip Now. चलिए सीखते हैं और सीखने के साथ साथ समझते भी हैं. But before that, I would like to request you that please subscribe my channel if you haven't yet. And if you really like this video, then please don't forget to like and share it as well. So let's move to the question number 1 now. What is the significance of data visualization? Now we all know that data visualization is basically graphical representation of your data. If you want to represent your data in form of charts and graphs, that is called data visualization. And the purpose is also very clear that to analyze data, we can visualize our data, and analyze in the sense if you want to compare data, if you want to see the changes in data over a period of time, or you want to see the proportionate contribution of individual data items, we can visualize our data. So here it is written that data visualization is immensely helpful for analyzing data. Data visualization shows changes in patterns, trends and relation in data using charts and graphs, and hence make it very easy for decision making. So the question number 2 is saying that how does Python supports data visualization? Now we all know that there is a module called PyPlot. It is also known as interface as well, means we can call this PyPlot as interface, or we can say class, or we can say module, and it is available in one library which is known as matplotlib. So with the help of this PyPlot, we can visualize our data. Now the next question is, what is the use of matplotlib and PyPlot? So now, as I discussed, matplotlib is basically a library in Python which provides lots of different interfaces for making or creating 2D graphics. These interfaces like PyPlot, PyLab we can get. PyPlot is basically an interface, or we can say a module, or you can say collection of methods which allows us to construct 2D charts and graphs very easily and interactively. Now the question number 4 is, what are the popular ways of plotting data? So we know that there are various ways we can plot data, like we can make line chart, we can make bar chart, pie chart, scattered chart, histogram and box plot as well. Let's move to the next question now. Now here it is saying that compare bar and bar h functions. Now we all know that bar and bar h both are used for making or creating bar chart. When you use this bar chart, we can create vertical bar charts like this, and when you use bar h, there we can make this kind of chart, means we can present our bars in horizontal format. So this is what the bar and bar h functions. Now the next question is, what is the role of legend in the graph and chart? Now we all know that whenever we create a chart, we generally see that there is a small box which tells about the different data points, or you can say data series. So this box is known as legend. So legend is basically specifies the data series with its name and colors to identify them uniquely. Means with the help of this legend, you come to know that which particular bar or which particular data series is for what. So the next question is now, what will happen if you use legend without providing any label for the data series being plotted? Now we all know that without using any argument inside legend, we will get an error, or you can say warning, that no handle with labels found to put in legend. So this is the message we get if we use legend without providing any label. Now the next question is, what do you understand with x limit and y limit? How are these linked to data being plotted? Now we all know that whenever we create a chart, we see that by default your system assigns a range of values in the y-axis and this x-axis. So the upper limit of x-axis is obviously set by your computer system. And suppose you want to make your own range or own maximum limit for x-axis and y-axis, that you can take or do with the help of this x limit and y limit. So x limit and y limits are basically used to specify your own range of data being plotted in x and y axis respectively. Say for example, if you take a range like 0 to 20, and suppose here you take 0 to 30, and suppose there is a data range say 40, so you would not be able to trace or plot this point in your chart. So we can say that these limits are linked with the data being provided, as only the data value mapping on x limit and y limit will get plotted. So if we match limit with incompatible data values, as I said, you have taken a limit up to 30 and there is a value say 40, so you won't be able to plot this data point in your chart. So you may get incomplete plot. So this is what the answer of this particular question. So the next question is now, a list named temp contain average temperature for 7 days for last week. You want to see how the temperature changed in last 7 days. Which chart you will plot for the same and why? Now as per my concern, we will use what? Line chart. The reason is quite easy to understand, because with the help of line chart we can easily depict the changes in data over a period of time. And when we talk about the column chart, it is basically for comparing data, like you want to check which one is the largest, which one is the smallest. There we use what? Column chart. So in this particular question it is saying that in a particular period of time how your data is being changed or which kind of trend you are getting. So here say this is my line chart. So if you see like this, if it is happening, so you can easily observe that it is increasing up to a particular time and then after it is suddenly dropping. So we can get a particular trend, or you can say change, very easily in this line chart. So let's move to the next question now. Now it is saying that when should you use line chart, bar chart, scatter chart, pie chart and box plot. Now as I said, line chart is basically used to see the changes in pattern of data, trends of data over a period of time. Bar chart is basically for comparing data, or you can say to display the data or relation among data or between data, we can use this bar chart. Scatter chart is obviously quite similar to your line chart, so we can say to display the trends we can use this. Pie chart, obviously it is basically for displaying the proportionate contribution of individual data item on a whole. Suppose there are some persons who are working for a particular type of job, and for one day they did a particular amount of work, and I want to present them in form of percentage, so we can show that using what? Pie chart. So it is all about to find the contribution of individual data items. The next is what? Our box plot. So it is basically used to display the statistical summary in 5 different ways, like minimum, maximum, upper bound, or you can say upper limit, lower limit, etc., and median as well. So this can be done with the box plot, like you would have seen, like this kind of chart I am talking about. So this is what your maximum, this is your minimum value, this is your upper quartile, and this is your lower quartile, and this is what your median. So this is what your box plot. Let's move to the next question now. What is histogram? How do you create histogram in Python? Now obviously histogram is also a type of chart which is quite similar to your column chart, or you can say bar chart, but it is basically used to show the relation among continuous data. It is very important to understand that histogram is basically used to depict, or you can say show the relation among continuous data, like weight, like height, etc. Now in the previous session I have already discussed about this histogram chart in the previous video. So if you want to see it in detail, you can just check my previous video, that is chapter 3 pie plot solution part 1. So as I was saying that it is basically used to visually interpret data points that lies within a range of values, and we can create this histogram using hist function. Now the next question is that what are various types of histograms that can be created through hist functions. Now we all know that we can create bar histogram, bar stacked histogram, step and step filled types of histograms through hist functions. Now the next question is that when should you create histograms and when should you create bar chart to present data visually. Now we know that if we have continuous form of data, like we have range of values like weight and height, etc., then we should use histogram chart. And if we have separate categories of data like month, state, names, so there we should use bar charts. For example, here I try to present this. Say for example, this is my histogram and this is what my bar chart. So you can see if we have data like in categories, there we should go for this bar chart, and if we have values in terms of say range, then we should go for this histogram. So I hope it will be clear to you all. Now the next question is that what is frequency polygon? How do you create it? Now we all know that frequency polygon is basically enhanced version of histogram chart. So frequency polygon is a type of frequency distribution graph where data points are marked at midpoint of given interval. Suppose that I have a histogram like this. So what we do actually, we find this midpoint of every range, or you can say bin, and then what we do, we combine all these points together using the straight line. So this becomes what my frequency polygon. So the question is that why should we use frequency polygon in comparison of histogram? If we want to compare multiple data sets or multiple data series, frequency polygon is much better option than histogram. Now the question is, how can we create frequency polygon? So we can create using, like, first of all, obviously we make histogram, then we mark single point at a midpoint as I said, and then we draw straight lines and then connect first data point to the midpoint of the previous interval, like this is my previous interval, and connect last data point to the midpoint of the following interval on the x-axis. This will be my last point. I have already discussed about this frequency polygon also in the previous video, so if you want to check it out, just click on the I button given at the top of this video. So let's move to the next question now. What is 5-point summary? So we all know that it is a quick and straightforward way to summarize the data set. Data set means we are talking about the data series. So we can say data series comparison and distribution. And we also know that we use one function by the name of boxplot for implementing this 5-point summary. And it consists of basically 5 different measurements like minimum range, maximum range, upper quartile, lower quartile, and median. The next question is, what is box plot? How do you create it in PyPlot? So as in the just previous question we discussed that box plot is basically used to represent 5-point summary, or you can say visualize 5-point summary, and we can create box plot using this box plot function. Now syntax you can see where we are using this box plot method with different arguments, like one is your x, which is basically the input data, second is your notch, which is basically to tell that which kind of box plot you want, whether you need rectangular box plot. Similarly this width, actually it should be vert, so this vert is an argument which is used for making boxes vertical or not. The mean line is basically for rendering the mean as a line spanning the full width of the box, and this show mean is basically for whether you want to show arithmetic mean, and this show box is basically to show the central box. So this is how we can understand this box plot. The next question is now, what is cumulative histogram? How do you create it using PyPlot? Now we all know that there is a mathematical concept known as cumulative sum, and on the basis of that we can also make cumulative histogram. So it is basically what, instead of plotting separate data which we call bin, we take cumulative sum for smaller values of all the bins is plotted. So by turning cumulative argument of hist function to true, we can create cumulative histogram. You can see this syntax where we are using this hist function, and when you make this argument to true, your histogram plot will be become cumulative histogram. Now how can we make it? Let me explain it with an example. Suppose I have some data, say for example I have a field name and I have some marks column, and I'm putting some data here. Now what happens in cumulative sum, what we do, we try to find the cumulative sum of them. So I should take one more column, say for example C. There I try to find the sum like 8, then 20, then 20 plus 14 would be 34, then it's become 40, then last one be 50. Now on the basis of this, what we do, we try to make a chart like these are my different categories like A, B, C, D and E, and here we put some values. Like basis of this we make the bars, like it is 8, so we can say this will be like here, and the next will be like 20, so we can depict it to 20 like this, and similarly for others. So this is how we can make cumulative sum histogram, and when we combine their midpoints using the straight line, we get a particular type of polygon. So this is what your cumulative histogram is all about. So I hope now that you will be able to get the answer of all these questions. So that's it for this session. See you soon in the next video with new concepts and new chapter solution. Till then, bye bye, take care of yourself, and thank you for watching this video.